User management, mostly you can see how to create a user, how to add a user, how to give a permissions to user, how to remove a permission to user, how to delete a user, or how to add a user to group. What is group, what is, we already discussed it in previous session. So like in WhatsApp, if you take, we have users, we have individual charts, we have group charts, we have only admin only send a message. Likewise, correlate with your real-time examples. So in Linux, there are three different users. We know super user, also called as a root user. You have full permissions, and system users. Those are the softwares which are running in the background, like HTTP request, SSH request, FTP request, like that. Normal users are created by root user, like ECT user, and Shiva we created in the last session. And when you create a user, you need to have a username and user home directory. So for normal users, we can see every user under /home after this. Okay, these are some regular paths you are going to visit every day, so it is better to remember. So don't by heart, which means I'm saying, so when you are switching, so where the users are exist in Windows, I can say in the users folder, but in Linux I can say /home folder. After the /home, any user like ECT user, Shiva user, Venki user, Sweta user, Chakradhar user, when you create a user, the default location is /home after that. So these are the things you have to remember. And then shell means if you are going to run a commands, right, every command need to store it in somewhere. Okay, that is called shell. So what is shell for this user? Bin bash, and root user also have bin bash. And these softwares, because they don't have any logins, okay, these are the softwares which runs in the background, which behaves as a users. Okay, that's why we have a sbin no login. So these are the shells, means the commands which they execute stores in this position. Okay, to know more about the user, the command is id of root, id of someone. Okay, and to get all users information, what you need to cat /etc password position, where you can, we already covered all these things, and we are yet to create a user creation. Whenever you are creating a user, obviously home directory is created, user id, group id is created, and then there is an entry in the /etc password. To create a user, what is the command? User add and username. Okay, so now yesterday we faced one issue with Linux, like Linux server, which is Red Hat server. So I stopped using this server and I installed a Amazon Linux. With this I tested it is working. So how to launch this Amazon Linux? Same pattern, you can launch multiple operating system at a time, so there is no issue. So go to launch instant, or wherever, go to instances, launch instance. Okay, so I'm launching on the Mumbai region itself. Click on launch instant. So here same pattern. Okay, here just give the name. So whatever name you like, you can give. In this case I gave AWS Amazon Linux because I'm using Amazon OS. That's why here I gave, okay, Amazon -Linux or space -Linux, whatever. So this is not a mandatory. And after that, everything you can keep as it is, all are default. And I'm not going to, so in the key pair, last time you created a key pair. If you want to create another new key pair, please follow same procedure. Or else if you want to use your existing key pair which you used for Red Hat, you can select that. Nothing is changed, only you are selecting a operating system. Here we are selecting Amazon Linux. Here you are giving your server name, and then you are selecting a key pair. Then you have to launch the instant. That's it. It will go it is going to launch one new Linux operating system for you. Okay, and after a couple of minutes you can see here, and you can select that. It will automatically run. Same process, nothing is changed, everything is same. And instant, start instant. Yeah, we got IP address. Anyway, it is loading slowly, so I am going to copy this IP, go to session, SSH, and use private key, copy your IP address which you take from the AWS, and browse the linux.pem file. It is a key based authentication. click OK. Then you need to accept. Then you have to type same user here also, EC2 user. This is the Amazon Linux. The banner is looks like different. We call them as a banner welcome. Okay, like how we keep banners for weddings, for birthdays. Likewise, we here also we have banners. Okay, so then you have to create a user. If I before that where the all users exist, ls hyphen, if you want to give ls hyphen l, where that all users slash home. So last day I created and tested with a Shiva user. I able to work it. Now I'm going to create user add. Okay, user add. This time I'm going to create username is Gamya, for example. Okay, if I run this, it is going to say permission denied because adding a user is not possible with the normal user. So I'm doing up arrow control A to come at the beginning. I'm giving sudo. Okay, now Gamya username is created, and to set a password, what is that? Again, to set a password, you have to give password, and password for whom? Password for Gamya. So what is the password? So I'm using some password. Okay, yeah, password is created successful. So because bad password, it is not matching the requirements, you know, right? When you're creating a password in corporate or in your Gmail also, it will ask for any upper letters, small letters, and symbolic numbers and symbolic characters, whatever I created. After that, you have to edit the SSH configuration. Okay, vi /etc ssh and sshd config. So I already edited. So here I'm getting empty, and here it is saying permission denied because again I opened with sudo normal, not sudo, with a normal user. So I'm fitting this, and up arrow control A, type sudo to get a super user permissions. And if you see here, password authentication already is enabled. Okay, so if you in your case it is not enabled, or maybe you enabled it, so go to type / and type password and go to that location, press enter to insert. Okay, I am in this location, and use your arrows, up arrow, down arrow, to go forward, backward, left, right. Only arrows will work. Okay, here you can give, instead of no, you have to type s. Okay, after that escape, colon, right, and quit. Okay, to verify that you can use cat what file you want to view, cat etc. Please verify it whether it is changed or not. Okay, that is a problem. vi, so vi is not required, /etc ssh sshd config. Now it is working. Permission denied again. Thank you. That's why better to switch to super user. No need to give every time sudo like that. Okay, now you can copy this one. Now I am not a EC2 user, I'm root. There could be some problem. First you tried copying with control C, then you are right clicking, so that's why it is throwing that kind of error. So here you got all the data. Yeah, here you can see. Okay, permit empty passwords. Without a password, are you going to permit them? No. That is good, right? Password based authentication, yes. If you are seeing a hash tag, please remove that, because hash means it is commented out, it is not taking as a executable code. Okay, so you verified, then what you need to do, control L and cd to go to home directory. That is optional, whatever. And you have to restart the system, restart service. Okay, first let's check status of sshd. Okay, to check that service sshd status, or you can use, instead of service, you can use systemctl command also. So it is active and currently running, so I want to restart it. So status, instead of status, I will see restart or reload, whatever. So restart, so it is throwing a command which means it is restarted. Okay, so if you see active and limit is 1, CPU load enabled. So if you restart again, you can check the status, up arrow. So currently active and running, it's okay, fine. So now I created a Gumya, right? I'm opening a new terminal here, new session. Okay, in your case you can right click, Sweta, in your case you can open a new SSH session, same as your current one, because you are using a Chromebook, right? So bit different, maybe control V, not, so I copied something else. So let me go to the AWS to copy my server. Okay, so please launch AWS instant AWS server to achieve this. So you no need to give anything, so just give the IP address, just click OK. Okay, now it is asking for username which we created, Gumya. Now it is prompting for password this time. Okay, what is the password? Whatever you gave, you can use that password. Okay, now it is matching. So do you want to save password for Gumya? No, I don't want to save it. Now you can control L. So as a Gumya, you able to log in. If you do ls-l /home, so there is a one more user created, Gumya. Okay, if you want to see what files are there, so cd, so your current working directory is /home Gumya itself, ls-l or ls-la. Okay, so these are the bash logout, bash profile, bshrc, these are the default profiles which created. And also there is a entry in where slash, so there is a entry in where cat /etc passwords. Okay, now earlier there is only ECT user start with 1000. Yesterday I created a Shiva, is 1001, and today we created a Gumya, is 1002, and this is the home directory. And we can go through the each and everything here. So you can see here every user has their terminal shell at bin bash. If you want to change it, you can change it. All these are the default options. Okay, now go through the this is, so your task is create 3 users name is whatever you can keep. I suggest you to keep our class members, like create Sweta, Venkatesh, Chakradhar, Rohit and Sridhar, 5 users in your account, and set password, whatever password you want, and try to log in with them. Okay, so like, and maybe in tomorrow session I will give credentials of Gumya to Sweta, I will give credentials of Shiva to Venkatesh, and I can create another credentials Chakradhar, and I will give that credentials to Chakradhar, so that they can directly log in to my server and they can do their assignments within my server instead of your server, so that I can verify here. Okay, that is the task we are going to do in the Saturday session. Okay, so user creation is completed, and let's move on. So users ID start from 1000, that is the default EC2 user, and you can check to get information slash, and to get all groups information, sorry, you can see slash it. See, I already said if user is created, that user primary group also created by default. Okay, so we are going to see each and everything, what is group, what is users, have everything in one by one. Now user add command, just now we created a user by using user add command. What it is going to do, it create a user account. Obviously we did not use any options here, just what I did, just I typed user add Gumya, then it is created a user. Okay, if I give any options, what it is going to do, if I give user add -d, then username, users home directory, you can specify users home directory. By default it is /home, but if you don't want to create a user home directory under /home, you can give -d, but no one is using, everyone is using default home directory. Configure user defaults like -u. So by default, what is the user ID I got? It is a sequence order, right? Like yeah, here It is a sequence order. First 1000, first user, next user 1001, next user 1002, and the next user 1003. Yeah, I don't like 1003. I want 1111. Like I want my user ID as a fancy number. Then you can make it. Okay, so you can create a user ID hyphen u and specify the user ID like 1111. Then give a username. Okay, that will also work. Okay, I'm not going to show you all these options, guys. It will take lot of time. Okay, for example, user add and hyphen u 1111, and then if I give Venki, let me give small names. Okay, again permission denied. Okay, so let me create here instead of switching there. So as a super user, oops, what I'm doing, Q for quit, Control L to so add user add 1111 hyphen u. I'm forgetting the option to modify user ID. Okay, and then username is Venki. If I do where we can verify cat and / etc passwords, you can verify that. Okay, now here you can see instead of coming 102, after 1002 or 1003 should come, but you created you specifically with fancy number or whatever number. So that's why that Venki user ID is 1111. Okay, so if you want to get more details of Venki, you can give Venki ID of Venki. Is group name group ID also 1111 is sorry, this is a group ID and it belongs to Venki group only, and his user ID is 1111. So likewise you can explore, guys, not only these things. So hyphen G, what hyphen capital G is mandatory because it is going to add all supplementary groups, means additional groups, because you are by default you are a member of Venki group and I want to access. Okay, for example, let's use I'm not going to create a Venki passwords and log into the Venki. Anyway, we are Gamya, right? So here what Gamya have, so clear. Now what, nothing is there. Okay, mkrls, I'm going to give I'm going to create a one file touch, or else with the cat only I'm going to create a one file with the greater than symbol, which is allowing me to write something. What is the file name? Cat greater than readme dot txt. Okay, hello user, welcome to my home, for example. Okay, Control D or Control C, whatever, both works. Cat to close it, cat readme.txt. Now allow user welcome to my home. If I do ll, now there is a one file which we created recently, and here we can see this is a regular file. Here owner has read and write permissions, others have only read permissions. Okay, and as a ECT user, as a root user, let me try. As a root user, can I able to access that file? Where it is located? Cat, it is there in the under home and Gamya directory, and what is the file name? readme.txt. Yes, hello user, welcome to my home. Okay, let me switch to ECT user now. Okay, now I'm going to use same file, cat / because root user can able to access because he is a super user, right? / home, and it is a Gamya directory, and what is the file name? readme.txt. readme.txt. See, it is saying permission denied because as a ECT user you are not able to access, but I want access to that file. What I have to do, you have to add this EC2 user to Gamya group, and you have to give the permissions to the. So here currently we have only, for group we have only read permissions, and then you have to give the permissions to group, so that every group member belongs to Gamya can able to access. That is a separate session. I'm going to say you, just giving a heads up on that. Okay, that is possible, and this is called file security or directory security or like file managing. Okay, in this way we are going to see that every group members, some group members are able to access it, some group members may not able to access. Ignore about the root user because he is a super user and he have full access to everyone everywhere in the Linux operating system. Okay, yep. So just explore. So -s default shell, what is bin bash. If you want to share the different shell, you can share it. And if you want to do account expiration, for example, user add -e and I want to expire this account within 1 day, so this day he can able to log into the my server next day, so he don't have access to my server. Because if you are giving any task to freelancing, like part-time jobs, and if you are running a project for only 1 month, and you can set a permissions, account expiration, not a password expiration, guys. Account expiration is different, password expiration is different. Password expiration means it is going to expire the password, but account is still active. But if I say account expiration means account is no longer able to access. Okay, so account inactive period, so -f, this account is going to inactive. What is mean by account expiration? Account inactive, account is exist but it is not, user is not able to log in. Here account is going to expire, completely removing it. So some administrative task with the same command, user add -r, create a system account. For example, like if you want to create a service, you can create. So -p with encrypted password, not a normal password. Okay, so go through these all options and you can see, and no need to remember and no need to by heart, guys. Even I am also don't know. If I need any comment, then I will refer my notes, that's it. Okay, simply I can use user add manual if you don't have a notes, and with you handy, and then you can use user add -help or manual, whatever. Okay, and here also you can give -p for password, -r for system, -R for root, and -s for shell. Same things, right? Same what we see. -G for group, small g for group id. Okay, and -f for inactive. So same options, nothing is there, just I copied all these things from here and I created a ppt. We are going to explore this. So if you see this, what is this means, you may have that doubt, right? If you see root user, where is the root? Maybe root is in top position. For root user we are seeing root x00 root bin bash, but here we are seeing for Venki, just now we created Venki x1111 home bin bash. So what is the meaning of this? So every colon separates the meaning of the content. So this is 1, after the colon x is 2, the colon in between the colon there is a 0, that is 3, in between the colon there is a 0, which is 4, likewise 5 6 7. So total 7 patterns we have. So first one represent username, second one represent this user as a encrypted password, x means encrypted password. Third column represent numeric user id. So root user is the first user in your Linux system, so it starts from 0. But when you create a regular users, your users start from 1001 1002 111, like if you want to change the user id. Okay, obviously next one you can guess, that is the group id. User id and group id both are similar numbers. Okay, primary group, not the secondary or supplementary group, because user can be part of n number of groups. Just imagine in WhatsApp how many groups you are part of. GECOS means general comprehensive operating system field, you can ignore it. Okay, sixth one is root user home directory, and if you see for regular user you can see /home/username, and default login shell, and you can change it. Okay, so remember system user IDs are start from 1 to 199, guys. What is system IDs? Which are the IDs which are running in the background, right? So services for example HTTP and FTP. So those are the system uh, services which are start from 1 to 199. Okay, because 0 is the root user, and regular user start from 1000. Yes. Okay. And so that's it, mainly these are important. Going forward we can go in depth, so I don't want to waste your time, or else if I go in depth at the earlier itself for each and every topic. So what I'm doing is I'm giving some hint on the topic, what is the meaning of this user management. Then if you want, we can go to the in depth, but that is not required in depth knowledge. Okay, then it will consume our time and there is no use, because up to 5 years, even 10 years also, you will face basic Linux interview questions, because those are the things we used to do every day. To create a password for user, we created a password with the password command and password name, and we did this everything last class. So permission denied, we verified in the gamya folder. Okay, and you can note this point: if you create a file under user home directory, except super user, other user cannot able to access, right? Just now we verified. So slash temp is a file is accessible to everyone. If you want to check the permissions for the slash temp, you can check. Okay, so control L, ls-l slash. I'm just giving slash because I want to see this temp. And if you see this here, it is a directory and everyone has full permission: read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. Okay, so that's why you can create any file. So there is a share folder, you can simply assume this is the share folder. Without any permissions, you can create some data and everyone can access. Okay, just want to if you want to see that. Okay, so and that is also difficult. But for example, if you want to go to into the this directory, you can go cd temp, you are into the temp directory. Okay, and here also as a gamya, if you want to go to slash tmp, you can go there. And if you do ll, so there are some files, ls-l, some readable format. So there are some files and they have that files have some permissions. Okay, so all these things you have to verify. I will explain in details while working on the permissions, file permissions, how to give a permission, how to remove a permission, so that everyone can able to access any user. Okay, I will discuss that in the upcoming class. And account passwords and agings, so these are there in the slash etc shadow. Okay, for example, ect user, you can see slash etc shadow. This is the file where you can see the user and user passwords, like either it is encrypted or plain text, and then when it is going to expire and what is the aging time, expire dates. For example, in your organization or in your company, whenever you're working, so after 90 days or 60 days you need to change the password, right? So this is that they are making here. Okay, so like what are the parameters? So you have to view this shadow file slash etc shadow. So this is not a complicated subject, guys. Everything you are experiencing in real time. Okay, so how they are working in the background, you are learning it. So cat slash etc and the file name is shadow sudo. Okay, so now I have few files, like every user and every service they have. For example, Shiva, they have some encrypted password. Every password is going to encrypt by default. And yeah, due to this is the complete text of Shiva, and this is the complete text for Gamya, and this is the complete text for Venki. Why Venki is shorter? Because Venki doesn't have a password, right? We did not create it. That's why we are seeing this what is that symbol? I'm unable to recall. Okay, So this symbols, so if you see this symbol, even ECT user also seeing this one, because with the ECT user we are accessing with the key based authentication, not password based authentication. Okay, and what is this 1997 or 0111197, and why these columns are there? Let's quickly discuss that. So if you are seeing a user and this context, and then after colon you are seeing some number and zero, some number and zero, and colon. So first one is username, obviously. Okay, so like Shiva ECT user, Gamya Venki. Okay, and then next one is days since password was changed. Okay, how many days since the password is changed? It is encrypted, sorry, it is encrypted password, this is. Okay, the third one is since days since password was changed, how many days? Okay, so if you see 19818 days, so how many years it is? So which means we did not set any password expiration. Okay, if you see 9909 is yesterday and today is 9906, so here we can calculate from when that dates are calculating from 1990, January 1st 1970. Okay, so you can search in Google what is for example, like in searching Google, what is what is that, for example Venki 19908 days. So from January 1st 1970, what is the day equal to 19908. You can check that after my class. I'm going to check it and I can share it. I don't want to waste that time. It will take approximately 5 to 10 minutes, and that's why. So I can share that link also, no issues. Okay, so this is what why we are calculating from 1970, because that is the system defaults which calculate from that day. Okay, so fourth one is days before password can be changed. Okay, so this is also we did not set. Okay, so this is pure user administration. If you are going to get a job to manage the corporate users in your organization, then you need to be master in this area, because you are going to automate. Even these days, if you user is one employee is joining the organization, they are not going to set this. They are simply run the script and everything will be automated. Okay, but you need to understand how automation work and how things are working. So that's why you need to learn some scripting, some basic Python coding also. But again, I don't want to scare you. So coding is just a script, basic fundamentals everyone can understand. Even for CBSE 6th class students also have Python course in their like school curriculum. So that is not a big deal for you guys, so don't worry about that. Okay, so fifth one, days until password must be changed. So if you want to set here like after 30 days this password need to be changed, then here you can see by default it is seeing 9999 means, so there is no password expiration. So days to one before expiring, sixth one, like your password is going to expire 3 days or 7 days, or your password is going to expire 1 day, please reset your password you used to get in while you logging into the system, right? So that prompts. Okay, so seventh one is grace period. You can see grace period between password expiry and password alert, right? So when you going to get a expiry warn, and when it is going to expire, like within 20 days, within 7 days. And so eighth one is you are seeing nothing here, blank, account expiration date, account not password, user account expiration date, like with user add some options you are going to create a expiration -f or -e. Okay, so ninth one is reserved for future use. Nothing is there here, every so there is no specific thing, so they kept it for future use. For example, in future if they want to add one more option, so that's why they kept this pattern here, leave it. Okay, so no need to buy head again, just you are going to exploring the things that. So please don't scare on these things. Even I am also not sure. I don't have these things in my mind. I'm teaching you guys through PPT. Okay. So I'm also working in the same domain in Linux, networking, Python, security, everywhere. I'm not keeping everything in my mind. So I used to maintain some notes, and I will refer when we need it. Okay, no need to by heart these things. No need to remember. Some of the user files, you may take a notes of it, or you can make a PPT. Anyway, I'm going to share this PPT, updated PPT. This is the updated PPT, which I have in OneDrive. That is a previous batch PPT, and that is a basic classes. But this is in this batch, everyone is trying with the experience. That's why I'm going some in depth. Okay, so what is this config items and then files? So user accounts, where it is going to store, we are just now see /etc password, and user passwords, where they are going to store in the /etc shadow, and user account defaults, where we have, you can go ahead and see. Okay, and the skeleton directory, that is also a /etc default user add. This is both are same. It is kind of account defaults only, you can go ahead and see. Okay, that is the assignment for you. Please create 5 users, generate passwords, and able test the logins, and explore these things. These are the mandatory going forward. This is not a basic, guys, so every time you are going to touch in depth. Okay, again I'm requesting you to practice it, but don't by heart. User accounts are there in /etc passwords, like that, repeat 100 times to remember that path. Don't do that. One more thing, so you already have user, yes, and at the time of creation you can do some modification by adding user add some options, but you already created the user without a password or without doing something, and you want to do some modifications for the existing user. Then what is the command? Simply usermod. To modify the user, command is usermod. To add the user, command is user add. So there is nothing to by heart, right? So those are the meaningful names they created with the commands. So command itself telling that this is the command to modify the user settings. User add, this is the command to add the user. Likewise, so modify the existing user, lock and unlock account. If you want to lock the account or unlock the account, for example, user is resigned and is moving from out of the company, and you don't want to remove complete account at last day itself, but you want to lock the account. You may require some data from the user sometime, or this is because they will give you some grace period of 15 days or 1 month to keep the user account as a locked. Likewise, add user to supplementary groups means additional groups. What is the command? You can see user mod, user add -g, that is the, and move a user to home directory. For example, by default you have /home/username. I don't want to keep that username there, I want to move that user to other home directory, then you can move it. Okay, so changing the shell, change the username. If you want to change the username, you don't like the Venki name and you want to rename that username as a Venkatesh, so then you can use usermod -l, then this one. Okay, changes the user ID. Already you got the user ID some 1002, and still you want to change the user ID, you can change it. Likewise. Okay, so user mod group option. If you want to change the groups of user mod -g to add the supplementary group. Okay, and some admin, move the user home directory, locks user account, unlock user account, and changes the primary group ID. If you want to change the primary group ID, you can use it. Okay, everything you need to explore. Now we are going to do one thing with the user mod. I'm going to see with the -g, I'm going to add user. If I do ID of Gamya group ID is 1002, and our group name is Gamya, and I want to add user mod -G, and then I want to add group Gamya. First you have to give the group name, then EC2 user. What is the user you want to add? Okay, EC2 user. Okay, Control A, sudo. Now let me come back here. Let me run the above command up arrow. Maybe Gamya is added to EC2 user. Let me check. I used to confuse either. Yes, if I do ID of EC2 user, EC2 user is Gamya is added to EC2 user. So what now? If we want to add EC2 user to Gamya group, just change the name, guys. So here you want to give username first, not the group name. So sometimes it's okay. You used to forget, okay, because no one remember anything if you are not doing regularly. Okay, so now in this case this works, and if you see ID of Gamya, now EC2 user is part of Gamya group. Okay, now if you see groups, so for Gamya we have only one group, right? Gamyas, okay, or else group. So now we can see both are in same group. Okay, what I am going to check now, what is the permissions for our file. Control L. I'm in temp, right? So let's go back to home directory and then ls-l. So even if group members also, they can able to read. Okay, so they can able to read means now group EC2 user is part of group. Okay, and others also able to read. So should I able to read now this file? So are you able to understand this? So now I'm going to run this command cat. I want to read the file where /home /Gamya, and what is the file? Readme .txt. But I am not able to read it. Why? So let's see what permissions we have for home directory. Why we need to see permissions for home directory? I can explain you. So for Gamya, if you see home directory, this is a folder. Group user don't have any permissions, others don't have any permissions. So to read the readme.txt, you have a read permissions. That is fine. So that with this read permissions, group member can read, others can read. Okay, but here the folder, Gamya folder, inside the Gamya folder there is a readme.txt, right? So that folder itself I don't have a permission. You guys are able to understand this? You want a example? అర్థమైందా? ఏమైనా ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇవ్వమంటారా guys? Yeah, okay, fine. So example is, for example, yeah, if I take your home, so this is main entrance. Okay, for example, you have a bedroom and this bedroom also got locked, and you have a bedroom door key with you. Okay, so for example, for bedroom lock you have a key to open that, but you don't have a main door lock. So what is the use? Okay, to reach the bedroom, first you have to enter into the main hall, right? Main door, then only you can able to access this. So this is a situation. You have a permission to readme.txt with the right file, but you don't have a folder permission. So that file is inside this Gamya folder, but you don't have a permission to Gamya folder itself. That's why you are not able to access it, and you have to modify the permissions to this folder. How to do that? Which is a chmod change the permissions, you can able to do that, but in the next sessions or upcoming sessions we can see that. So this is how these permissions folders works. Okay, so these are very very important, guys. So where that file is located, or I am the member of which groups, and do you have permission. Sometimes you execute some commands, you will get this permission denied. Then you need to identify why you are getting a permission denied. Are you part of the group and group have the proper permissions? Like you need to verify it. Or if you are a Linux administrator, some users will run some commands and they don't have permissions, they will copy paste that lags. Hello Venkatesh, I'm not able to get this access, could you please check? Then you need to identify so where these permissions are blocking, or this person is belongs to which group, is that group has a permission, and is that folder has a permission. If the folder has a permission, is that file has the permission. So everything you need to identify and then give the access based on the proper approvals. This is how your corporate works environment works. That's why we are able to see some folders in the file, some folders we are not able to see that because of permissions issue. Okay, some kind of restrictions, guys, like in your corporate company, if you want to, are you authorized to enter into the server room? No, right? Only IT engineers, they can able to access the server rooms, they go into the rooms, because that is kind of restricted area. Only specific persons have the permissions, and you have to take the proper approval to get that permissions. For example, your manager need to approve, your team lead need to approve, or your director need to approve. So these things happen in the corporate environment, right? So once everyone got the approval, then the system engineer or server engineers going to give the permissions. How to give the permissions, we'll see that. Just chmod, change the permission. There is absolute method, symbolic method, read permission. If you want read permission, write permission, or read, write, execute permissions. So some guys will have only user only read permissions. Some guys may not have download permissions, like that. Okay, so everything we are going to see that. So please practice, I can request. Okay guys, thank you.